Can you hear me, Cindy? It's Connie.
I got it. Hey, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Just I'm not in a great connection spot, so just want to make sure I was being heard. Thanks. Hey, it's Connie again. I hate to ask, but I thought my call might have got dropped. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Connie. We just have it muted because of all the background noise right now.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Hey, guys, we'll get started in just a minute. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Quiet.
It should key. Can y'all hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I can hear.
Thank you guys so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. At this time, I would like to say thank you to Trenum for hosting us. And at this time, I would like to introduce Danny Perry, Dean of Workforce Development, for comments and welcome.
As noted, I'm Danny Perry. I'm the Dean of Workforce Development and Career and Technical Education here at Trenum State Community College. And on behalf of our acting president, Dr. Kimba Chambers, I want to welcome you guys here to Trenum State. And I hope your visit with us is pleasurable, and we're glad you're here, and we're glad we can host this meeting. If there's anything you guys need while you're here, just let me know. We do have restrooms right down the hall on the left here if you have to utilize those services. But otherwise, again, thank you guys for being here, and don't hesitate to let me know if there's anything I can do for you.
I apologize, guys. I did not introduce myself. I know most of you know who I am. I'm Jennifer Lohman, the chairperson for Workforce Council, Region 5. So now we're going to move on to Jindy with updates.
Right, thank you, Jennifer. If we look a little bit like we don't know what's going on, this is called moving into the new norm and trying to have an in-person and an online and doing it all at one time. And it's just the new norm. We're just all gonna relax and live through it and see how it goes. Great that we can do it. I know a lot of people love the virtual, or still, like the virtual. Honestly, I think, well, first, welcome. Welcome in person. So glad to see your face. Just glad to be here and connecting with people. I'm one of those, memes that you see on Facebook. Check on your hugger friends. They're having a hard time. That would be me. So happy y'all are here. Happy to see so many of you in person. The whole quarantine time, and we have met, since then and through then, but I think there is some good that came out of it. There's a lot of good that came out of it. And we're still, like I said, massaging those pros and trying to get rid of the cons as we navigate the new future. I really like the fact that we've had such great participation virtually. Today, I think we had something like 48 registered in person and 49 virtually. That would have led us to about 100. Well, I don't think we have 100 here, but you have options to join. And I think that's really speaks well when you're dealing with 13 counties across central Alabama. It's often a very hard time for particularly business members to leave your work, drive an hour, have an hour meeting, drive back, that's half your day. So I like the virtual aspect, and we will try to keep honing those fine details until we have it down. I'll talk more later about industry sectors. That is one area that we've had great success with virtual, and it's really, really helped us a lot. So we'll continue to use some of both, and we very much welcome your comments. There are some sticky notes back there. If you didn't pick up the pack, feel free to take one, write us a suggestion. You know, even it could even be something as simple as I like in person, or I like mixed, you know, blended as we call it. Or, you know, suggest something that you'd like to hear about. As a business, you know, partner, where are you struggling? What would you like to hear? Is there a person, an expert, or is it, you know, more of a work group? We're here for you, so we would love to have your input on that. As Jennifer said, I am here to do an update. If I can figure out how to use this. Oh. Raina just said, don't do it, just let her do it. Back in January, or it might have even been before that, I presented some goals for this year, for 2021. And these goals come directly from our strategic plan. That is the strategic plan for Central Alabama, and how we as Central Alabama Works are working to bring our partners together and to, you know, help grow our workforce by working with those partners. I want to touch on just kind of where we are and the work that's been done since that time, and let you all know the things that are going on and the things that will be coming down the pipe. As far as our board, we are in the process, and Jennifer's going to talk more about this too, of revisiting our bylaws. It's been 2016, you know, is when the group was reformed, restructured, with dividing the lines in the counties, and we've had 2 members from every county. There's some talk about, you know, redoing that some, and the executive board has looked at that. They'll continue to look at that, so know that that's coming. Training for board members as well. I realize that we have some board members who we've never trained, and there are lots of acronyms in workforce that I try not to speak in all the time, but I still think that it's a good idea for us to have some training. So know that that will be upcoming, at least just to know the difference, particularly some of you serve on the Regional Workforce Council, and then you may also serve on the WIOA board. And it's important to know what's the difference. What do those acronyms mean? And we found that out at the state level yesterday too. There's just so many different things going on that we really need to be aware of, you know, what is my charge in this meeting? So your charge as a council in this meeting is to represent your county and to bring forth your workforce issues to the group, or to, you know, individually on how to attack them. As far as business and industry, one of our goals was to increase our industry sector meetings, or really to stand them up, to make them more robust. And we've had good success, like I said, with our industry virtual meetings. We will be meeting next week, June 22, 23, 24. Manufacturing on the 22nd, construction on the 23rd, I believe, and 24th, healthcare. Those are all at 10 o'clock, and they're all virtual. If you don't have information about that, you can find it on our website under events, but we would love to have you there. We will highlight at least one topic to talk about, but we will, you know, we want to listen to you, listen to your concerns. What are the things that we can come together as a group or a consortium, or, you know, however we need to work together to address those issues. Enhanced customer service is something that we've been talking about, not only our region, but all regions. And specifically as that relates to business and industry, we want to be able, I mean, it's a wonderful thing now that we can even go into business. So, you know, not all business is open, but a lot has opened. And so we are on the road more than ever. Myself, Sabrina Wood, Amy Owens. If you have not met Amy in person, is our newest staff member, who is business and industry relations. And then of course we claim Sarah Mills, our liaison, also as our team. And that's our big 4-person team. But we cover a lot of ground for 4 people. So if there are needs that you know of, businesses you think we should be talking to, very thankful for our career centers that have allowed us to go along and work with them. I know Amy and Linda had a great day of visits not too long ago, so we're working those pipelines. The Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program. Our last meeting, I believe you all heard about this, AWSP. We had a team launch on June 2nd. And by team launch, I mean, this is a 3-pillared program of the state. It's the Regional Workforce Council, ACCS, the Alabama Community College System, and our career centers, all the career centers. Not one, leading the charge, but all 3 working together. We had a work session in that meeting to determine businesses that might be good fit for the program. The individuals will need to enter through the Career Center or through Adult Ed at the community college. We're finding new questions every day and new answers every day. So I implore you to keep your eyes open. We may be contacting you to talk about businesses or the businesses directly to see if you would qualify and if you would fit. In case you don't remember, AWSP came about is a $17 million grant that was awarded to the state through our education department, U.S. Department of Education. There. It's hard to keep them all along. We're still working to get that first pilot. Sarah's been working really hard. We have a company that we keep after to see if we're going to get that first one approved. I think once we get the first one, then we'll be rolling and we'll really have some traction and get going on that program. In the area of education and students, Sabrina is always hard at work in our education aspect. We did have a very successful virtual career discovery. We had a lot of added resources to that page. If you have not been on the Career Discovery website, please go. It has updated resources, updated success stories, just a lot of good things. There also, kind of from that, some of the resources that we work through, particularly Educator Workforce Academy, Sabrina and I will be presenting at the Alabama State Department of Ed Summer Conference. So it's just a lot of good pathways and connections that we can all work together, help support our educators as they're trying to build the pipelines that we need. Our Guidance Counselor Workforce Boot Camp, something that we've been talking about. We've talked with some State Department officials and we will be planning that for October of 2021. We do lots of great work with our career coaches. They do great work and we help support them in any way we can. And this is just another layer of a way that we could support our guidance counselors. They do so much other, testing and this and that. So we want to find a way to be able to support them as well and help them with workforce. Going on to our post-high school workforce, we're looking at Career Center hiring events. We actually have a hiring event on June 23rd, and we're going to have the Career Center bus there. We really want to try to incorporate the bus, the Career Center, the marketing side of it into any hiring thing that's going on, because our businesses do not all know, how can they use all these different acronyms that we talk about. That's great to talk about them, but what we always refer to WIFM, what's in it for me? And you don't want to bog them down with a bunch of stuff. So we're going to have a very brief hit on some things on the workforce menu today that may be able to help you. Hiring event, we're doing June 23rd is going to be Montgomery, Autauga, and Elmore, and it is focused on manufacturing. We've got 20 great manufacturers working with our partners in chambers, economic development. And another thing I want to share with you too, and I think this was a great idea, and I'm sure it wasn't mine, but I'll give credit to, it's probably Sabrina or Amy, one or the other. Our seniors that just graduated, we find oftentimes that seniors don't know what they want to do until well on after graduation. When you talk to, I've said this before and y'all have heard it before, if you talk to a senior in the fall of their senior year, oh, I'm going to college. Yes, check. You're going to do it. Talk to them in January. Oh, yeah, I'm going. I've got a plan. Yeah, February, March rolls on. They start to understand, no, I haven't applied. I don't have the ACT to get in, or I just simply don't know what I want to do. And your parent is saying, why go, me being one of those, why do you want to go to college if you don't know what you want to do? That's just kind of spending money to amble around for a while or play. So we sent out something end of May, maybe was it, Lindsay? And ask our career coaches, our guidance counselors, our CTE people, can you send out your remind, they all have these remind accounts. Can you send out to the seniors and say, hey, sign up on our website and we'll let you know when there's a hiring event. And they also told us if they were interested in manufacturing, healthcare, IT, any number of these things. So actually we had a really great response. I can't say hundreds and hundreds, but it's probably approaching 100. And that's been a great way to push that out. There's a great hiring event over here. Let's target these students. So we'll follow up on that even more. Also with this hiring event, it'll be in person on June 23rd. It's at the Wetumpka Civic Center, but the following 2 days, we're going to do a virtual event where they can come onto our website, quickly do a little login account, and then be able to see all the companies, click on their logo, and go to that website to apply. So hoping that that's all going to work really well. If it does, we'll take it all across the state. If you need us in your region, or in your local area, we'll come to you. And then finally, looking at that post-high school workforce, we really want to do some work with nonprofit outreach. We're looking at planning a nonprofit summit, hopefully soon, where we will bring together, we've got to have had a meeting already with our family resource centers, get them together along with our career centers, try to make sure that everyone knows the resources that are out there. Oftentimes the people that are working directly with individuals, maybe they don't know all the resources. There are training dollars everywhere right now. There's really no use in you not training for something that you want to do. I mean, the money is there and the jobs are there. So we want to connect you and get you into that part. Moving on to partners. Try not to be long-winded on this. Our economic developers, we know, are critical to us, and we want to start having some quarterly meetings. I've said that for a while now, but we are targeting August, and hope to get them together and then kind of share those challenges and things and what they're looking at and help meet those needs. And then as far as our ACCS workforce meetings, we've not met officially as workforce, but we have met within the AWSP as well as adult ed. And I will say for AWSP, for as much as it's caused us to pull our hair out at sometimes, it is causing us to all come together and see, how can you work as a team, all these different partners, how can they come together to meet the needs of individuals and business? So we continue to work on that one. And then lastly, marketing. We said that we wanted to share some success stories. We now have success stories posted on our website. There was actually a young boy in Russell County that Sabrina went and filmed and did a success story. He was going to school, working also at the school in construction. And now he has graduated, and there was actually a story in the newspaper about him. So, wasn't it in the newspaper? So, actually, Career Discovery website has a lot of our success stories as well. And then we're exploring additional resources for marketing. Are there grants and things that we can do to help get those words out even more? I think that students like to hear from students. Adults like to hear from adults oftentimes, so different ways that we can get the word out. And then finally, a website revamp. It's just that time, and we are looking to get proposals and move on to how we might make that the easiest one stop to, for employers and job seekers to go out and find the resources that are offered through Central Alabama Works and our various partners. So that is a quick update. Might not have been quick enough for you, but are there questions or anything from that you have right now that I could answer? All right. If not, I will turn it back to Jennifer.
Okay. Technology is not on my side today. So now let's move on. We're going to talk about the ACCS workforce grant approvals. Our grant committee met on Monday to hear presentations from our community colleges. I apologize. Many thanks to the Regional Workforce Council members who served the subject matter experts on the committee, as well as members of our business community who represented the industry on the committee. Central Alabama Works is allocated 4 rankings of 5, which is the top rankings for the grant. Additionally, we are allowed to guarantee $300,000 towards those rankings. What you see on the screen shows the committee college, the grant name, and the amount requested, along with 4 who received the top ranking of 5. The grants were all exceptional this year. We wish we had more money that we could allocate the entire $1.5 million request. But thank you to the colleges for their outstanding work. We look forward to working with you on future projects. Okay, and we have established a quorum and we need to vote to approve on the grants.
This is the kind of stuff we're figuring out as we go along. Council members online, if you would vote via chat to accept these grants, that would be, can you see that? I shouldn't have pulled that up. That would be great. Okay, great. Y'all hear me? So it's coming through. And then we will ask for a vote from our council members who are here.
Hey, Jendy.
Oh, yeah, we need a motion.
Yes. Jendy, this is Aubrey. I move that we accept the committee's recommendation that has come before and displayed on the screen to accept their recommendations and rankings for the grants that were presented.
And Thomas second.
He seconded.
Great. And so committee members, council members, all in favor? Great. Thank you.
Hey,
And that
guys.
is accepted.
Okay, this is Connie. I wasn't able to chat, but I approve. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yes, and we have some joined by phone, some joined by computer. It's a new world. It's a new world.
Okay. We're going to move on to the bylaws. Second. Yeah. Do we have any nays? Thank you. The ayes pass. We're going to move along now to the bylaws. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead. And I'm gonna check this.
I'm gonna have to do this right here. My technology stopped working on me. So the bylaws, the regional council was created in 2016 with the creation or a realignment of 7 workforce councils. We have grown and changed over the years. For that reason, the executive board has been looking and updating the bylaws. One of our challenges is that the original members who joined in 2016 are slated to depart at one time in 2022. We're working to set up a system that will allow members to stagger so that we won't lose all of our knowledge at one time. We will revisit the bylaws in September, but we know that the executive board will be working to come up with a process going forward. So yes, we don't want to lose what I call all of our seasoned members at one time. And so the bylaws we currently have now is not designed where it's staggered. And so we're taking a look at it. We're gonna come up hopefully with a solution, and then we'll bring it before you all in September for a vote. Any questions? No questions. Thank you. Now we'll have Jenny come back up and talk about workforce trouble.
Y'all might be tired of hearing from me today. I'm sorry. We'll get a snazzy speaker for the next time. But since we were all in person today, I really thought that one of the greatest things is just to talk to each other. We all miss the chit chat that goes on in between, when you're moving in and out of the meeting and hey, what's going on with this? So we'll allow some time for that. But as you all know, the topic of the day is, where are the people? We can't find workforce. Can't find them. People don't show up. Even if you schedule their interview, they don't show up. This is our attempt to present to you a workforce menu. I'm not telling you this is giving you people. I'm here to tell you that this is some things to think about as we reemerge. It's my hope that when the unemployment goes away Friday and, some other things, as people are, less scared to get out, as we return to whatever the normal is going to be, that we're moving more, to a full workforce. Let's face it, things weren't fully ideal before COVID. So now it's just thrown an even bigger wrench, and we've just got to be even more creative in how we're going to find a workforce. So these are just some things to get you thinking. You all know that every time I speak, I always say, workforce, you've got a short term and you've got a long term. Short term, everybody needs it. And that's where we are right now. Everybody needs it. But I'm also here to tell you, if you don't invest some into the long term, it's going to be a constant battle of short term. So this is just a little bit to get you thinking. In terms, we're calling this the workforce menu. Can't scroll it. Just scroll down a little bit. And you'll see we're going to talk about some of these things. You can order a la carte off the workforce menu. But the two things I want to talk about today are training your own and growing your own. You have some people now that are good and you want to keep. And I want you to think about that too. How can we reward those that are at work and doing good work? And then how can we possibly grow others up to be those employees that, are highly valued? Under train, what we're going to do today too, I always compare this to work in ministry. It's very similar. I worked in a church a lot of years. I played the piano and just spent a lot of years in church work. And you always hear, we got to plant the seeds. You got to plant the seeds. Well, you do, but you never know where they go. They may be great and you pray that they are, but they may fall on the hard ground. So you kind of have to go into it with that certain amount of faith. But I always laughed at the people in church who would get disgruntled with the minister, and they would say, well, I'm going to leave this church. I'm just not being fed. And a friend of mine, her favorite saying was, if you're not being fed, have you sampled the buffet? And that always just hit me. She meant, are you just coming to church and sitting in your one spot and then you're leaving? Or do you come and do you try to get involved in a Sunday school or a small group, or do you give in some way, or do you do another thing other than just want, to me? So I throw that out as a challenge. Just consider this is your workforce menu. Have you sampled the buffet? Have you looked at anything on this? And if you haven't, and there are many of the we's in here, are here to help you with that. So look at train your own, new employees. Work-based learning. Oh, I forgot to also say, we're going to have some shout out testimonials in the middle of this. I'll call on some people that are going to give you a little blurb about the program or how they worked it, or what has happened in that program. So it won't be all me, thank goodness. New employees. Work-based learning is a program that we hear work-based learning a lot. We hear that phrase. It can mean many things. It means different things within the Career Center, different things within high school, different things within community college, you know, but it's all basically the same. You hear a lot of people say, well, that's old time co-op. Yes. I mean, it's learning by doing is what it is. There is a program that is, I would say, not as well known, work-based learning through the Career Center, where the state actually pays a salary for work-based learning for the student who is doing that. So I encourage you, if you have a program that you would like to train up a student, look into that. You know, there may be a young person doing that. In an ideal world, that work-based learning would roll into what we call OJT, on-the-job training. And our first testimonial is going to come from Mrs. Spit your name out, Christina, who is with the Montgomery Career Center. And I would love for her to, she is a business service rep at the Montgomery Career Center, and she is going to give us a little testimonial. I think that's all of our friends online. So, there we go. Yeah. Yeah.
So we want the job training. If you hire a full-time employee, you train that employee, this grant will reimburse you up to 75% at this time. We have an employer, one of our very close validator, computer and research corporation. This is not where it comes. This company started to utilize on-the-job training in 2018, July of 2018. I was speaking with Warren Phillips. He is the president of the agency. And I asked him, Warren, why did your agency choose to, after all this years, to move forward with on-the-job training? And he put this in my mind. Here is why. We had to multiple projects of reworking is what he said. Because technology is constantly changing. As a result, they need to hire new staff, new personnel. So Warren's agency committed, they barely have 5 employees right now, but they committed to hiring software specialists. And the beautiful thing that he talked about when he likes about on-the-job training is it has expedited his hiring process. Now, these are my pre-COVID situations. Before COVID, I had a nice applicant pool that I could refer to the employers. And then these employers could select from them. We do have applicants in our pool now. It's not as extensive yet, but we're believing, like Jimmy said, after June 19th, things change. Because the future is along the lines, Dan did say that as we were talking, we went back and did the calculations of how much this company has received in training reimbursement. They've gotten about $20,000 back in reimbursement during the time in which they've been providing OJT. OJT is just one of the many options available through our Alabama Career Centers, and I'm sure Jimmy's going to tell you about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mary. I know there's several others in the room. I know that there are several others in the room that have used OJT in a great way. Karen Gresham is one. Y'all have saved, you have figures? And that's with East Alabama Medical Center. So not one industry, you know, that it applies to. You can think cross industries, just it's another option. Another thing for new employees, Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program. Again, we're all working through it. I know you think that sounds like a cop-out. It's not a cop-out, but it's a new program. And so it's going to have some specifics. What we're targeting, employer side, is employers, preferably 500 employees and less, in rural areas, even better, that are needing entry-level hires. For the individual, you will need to be WIOA eligible. There's several different category or characterizations that the Career Center can talk through, or adult ed in the community college can talk through. That's not my side of it, but I'm more than happy to help you through that process. Existing employees, let's move on to existing. You've got employees, they're working well. What can you do to reward them or move them up? Leadership training. The Regional Workforce Council is the gateway to leadership training right now. This is the program that AIDT offers, used to be run through AIDT and now offered through the Regional Workforce Council. Sabrina Wood is your person to sign people up. We offer Leadership 1, Leadership 2, and Leadership 3. They are 1 or 2 day classes. Right now they're offered at no charge to the business and the individual, and are offered virtually. So you really can't get any better than that. If you can just allow the person to not work that day, then they can go for leadership training. You do not have to take them in order, and they're offered it at different times. So check our website again for that, or talk with Serena before you leave. Alabama Workforce Stabilization, you hear that again. There's a level 1, which is entry-level employees, and there's a level 2, which is incumbent workers. We are working hard to figure all that out and see how it's going to upskill. I will tell you that the employer must pay $12 an hour in that program. But if you are an eligible, or you are approved as an employer, this grant is going to pay $9 of your $12. So you will be getting an employee for $3 an hour. So it's well worth looking into, well worth the whole work that we're doing to try to figure out how to spend the money. So that's what we're doing for that reason. Existing industry training program. This is a program that trains those employees that you have. If you have a specific training or that needs to be done, you work through the community college, and thankfully I have another shout out, Dr. Darren Baldwin. I'd like him to come down. If you'll come here, the people on the web couldn't hear last time. I'm sorry, Christina. If you'll come here and speak to us a moment about EITP, as it's affectionately called, Existing Industry Training Program. I'm trying real hard not to speak in acronyms today.
Good afternoon. I think I drew the short straw because any of our service providers can help you with the EITP, whether it be any of the community colleges or ATN. But we've been able to help some of the local companies through this program, and it helps supplement the training cost up to $15,000. So, and that could be a soft match. It's whether your employees are sitting in the class and they're while you're the payroll for them just to sit in the class while they're being trained. I see some of the companies out in front of me now that we've actually helped in some of those training environments. But EITP is, if you have a specific skill set, whether it's with Microsoft Office Suite or an OSHA training or whatever that skill set might be you want to concentrate on, this EITP grant could help you with that. And actually the colleges or ATN can help you write that grant. Yep.
Yes, they will help you write it. Very helpful. See, I got an amen from the congregation. Yes, very helpful when they will come alongside you and write it for you. And like he said, that it could be the community college, it could be ATN. There's even been instances if you have a new piece of equipment and everyone needs to be trained. That's a great, point of contact for EITP. Some leadership training, if it's outside, a scope or supervisory or something that needs to be, there are things that can be customized to a degree. So remember that one. And Incumbent Worker Training Program, or IWTP, same thing, but on the federal side. EITP is state dollars, IWTP is federal dollars. State, a little easier to work with and use. Federal, you can get to them, but you might not be as quick. But when the EITP runs out, we'll go to the IWTP. You can tell I'm all about spending some money today. All right, so you've looked at your own force that you have, workforce that you have, and now you're saying, okay, how can I grow my own? This is just not giving me everybody. I need new people. Community colleges. We have 7 community colleges in our region. In 13 counties, we have 7. I dare say we are the one with the most. Danny, do you know? I mean, North Alabama might have, but I don't think they have 7. We have 2 unique community colleges. One is Ingram State, which is training for our incarcerated population, doing wonderful things there. And Marion Military Institute, which you would think, would they really fall in? Yes, they do. And they do a lot of great training with first responder, law enforcement, fire, a lot of that. Although a lot, several of theirs go on to, many of theirs go on to service academies, but these are extracurricular things that they can take with them and then often go as a job as well. So in addition to Chattahoochee Valley Community College, Southern Union, Central Alabama, Trenum, and Wallace-Selma. Oh, I did it from memory. Yes, all 5 plus our 2. So 7 community colleges. They have numerous programs going on. Right now, Southern Union has FAME. If you don't know FAME, Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. That is training, industrial technicians. High demand right now. They're in their 2nd year, and you all had an amazingly big class this year. How many are been recruited? 23. And through the FAME program, you are going to school half of the week and you're working the other half of the week. So it is an apprenticeship program, and you're already tied in with a company, right after high school. So great program. Trenum is looking to ramp that up here. So Montgomery and surrounding companies, we will be calling on you soon to say, let's talk about this. Let's talk about bringing this to Montgomery. Moving on from that, apprenticeships. I would dare say every one of our colleges has apprenticeships, and talk to them about what they have. We recently got a good program offering update, and very soon we'll be putting that on our website that shows you every college and what they offer. So it'll be a nice, concise little place to go and look. Work-based learning, they also have work-based learning. Many of our colleges, if not all, require work-based learning to graduate. So that's, hook in with them and find out. That's a great way to test employees. How are they going to be? What's their work ethic? What are the skills that they know? That type of thing. Ready to Work is, I hope you all know Ready to Work by now. It is offered through adult ed. It's also offered in our high schools, and I'll get to that a little later, but that is our essential skills, our essential workforce skills. Can you be on time? Can you be that, a great opportunity to hire people who are looking maybe to change careers. That's another thing that we really need to zone in on now, because I think COVID has opened up the opportunity for a lot of people. If you're tired of what you've been doing, maybe now is a time to look to another career. There's never been a better time as far as training dollars. Now's time to jump into that. And then down to our K-12 system. And I really encourage you as a business on these 2 levels, community college and K-12, to get involved in some way. You all know the work we do with career discovery, with 8th graders trying to do career awareness. You cannot be what you cannot see. So we need to show them what's out there and how to get there, the path that takes you there. The various career tech programs, our CTE programs are fabulous. There are so many different varieties. Lindsay, was it you who told me about hospitality, that everybody had a job? Yeah. Everybody in their hospitality cluster or program is employed right now. These are high schoolers. So, you know, that's great. Tours. People, you know, we need businesses to offer tours to students. We found that when we went to our virtual world, and it's, you know, we can't get out, we can't get into business. How are they going to know what's out there? Virtual, in person, however you can do it. You know, call the school around you and say, hey, we're here, or call us, and we'll be glad to keep a list and push it out to our educators. Work-based learning, many opportunities in high school for work-based learning, whether it's an after-school, you know, job up to a work-based learning program with a career center. So consider that. Mock interviews, they're all the time, you know, in one form or another, a high school is going to be offering mock interviews. And you as an employer are the ideal candidate to get in there and really be honest. I mean, you know, go in and say, I hope you wouldn't consider wearing that when you go to your interview. I spoke with a business person the other day who said after their interview, after they'd conducted the entire interview, they said, okay, the interview is over. Now I need to give you some real advice. You cannot have that phone in your hand when you come in here. You cannot wear, you know, the clothes you have. I mean, just really was a mom. And sometimes you have to do that, but better for them to hear it in high school than when they go on their first job interview. So if you can, do. Signing days. This is something I've already talked about ready to work. I'm gonna jump down and skip to it, but there are many high schools who are doing ready to work classes as well and having a great success in touring those students to business and industry and showing them all the different pathways. So if you want to be involved in that, we would love to connect you. Right now, I'd love to have Lindsay come up and talk to us about signing days within high school.
Good afternoon. My name is Lindsay Jordan. I'm the career coach for Elmore County Schools. And one of the things that we started doing a few years ago was something that created signing days. We started inviting employers to our campus and spending an entire day doing nothing but letting our students talk to employers. And that really came out of a need for the fact that happened a lot. I mean, if you're a tech center, you get a lot of demand from employers. Hey, do you have students in this field? Hey, do you have students in that field? And if we accepted every single time that somebody asked that, we would spend our entire year having employers stop by campus. And they would never actually learn what they were supposed to learn in class. And so we decided, let's kind of create one day where we just showcase as many as we can fit on campus. And we tried to invite as many different types as we could. And out of that event, several of our students got jobs out of the plumbing course and program. And that was one of our newer programs. So we were excited to highlight that and showcase it. And so we signed up with Klein Tools to do a signing day, and we put on the pretty tablecloth and invited the media and just did a big to-do and refreshments about the fact that these kids were going to work because that's what they wanted to do. And they had figured out that going to work straight out of high school was a really great path for them. And we've had students in the past few years who they're going to go to college too, but they figured out they know how to work full-time and go to college and make money, and that what a concept that the employer will actually help provide training dollars for them to continue that education. And so the more that we talk to students about that, the more that we see from everywhere from I'm struggling just to graduate to our top AP and dual enrollment students, both are seeing the benefits of going to work. And so the past 3 years, we've done some sort of signing day. Last year was obviously virtual. And so we just went around and tried to take pictures of as many students as we could. But the big thing for employers is that it gets your name out there, one, and it's a little bit of that. I wouldn't call it free advertising because you're hiring somebody, but it's a little bit different form of advertising. And we put it out on social media and try to get our local individuals to see, you know, hey, this company hired a student. I know of one at Baptist East who hired on as a patient care tech straight out of high school in the middle of COVID last year. I thought that was pretty brave for a 17, 18-year-old student to walk into a hospital, and your job is as a patient care tech, you are going to be, he's in the actual COVID ward, like that was his job. And he accepted that willingly, and he's still there today and is getting great marks from his supervisors on the fact that that's what he's doing. And he's also learning on the job and being able to move up. So this year we had a company that specializes in welding hire 3 of our welding students out of that program. So we were really excited to send 3 kids to one place. And hopefully they're going to reap rewards from that. And, you know, we don't do a signing day necessarily for juniors who go to work in the summer, but we celebrate them equally and hope that we can sign them the next year, whether it's full-time or to recognize them in some way. But I would encourage you as an employer, get involved with your tech centers. If the one near you doesn't want to work with you, go to the one, you know, the next one. If they don't have a program, we don't have every program. I think we have 22 now in this school year. We'll have 22 tech programs system-wide in Elmore County, but there's some that maybe Montgomery has that we don't, or some that we have that they don't. So try to find a local school. Jindy can help you get connected with your local career coach and career tech director. We want to get you connected to the students, because that career tech director is who I rely on when I have a student that says, I want to go in this field. Well, then you need to take Mr. So-and-so's class and talk to him about the different connections he has, because as many connections as I have, I don't have deep connections in 22 fields. So I can help you get connected to that instructor, and that instructor can help you get connected to that company. And so that's been very successful for us to not only make employer partnerships, but try to continue those employer partnerships.
Well, I hope you see that you have some options. You know, there are some workforce options out there. You just have to sample the menu. And the way to do that is to pick up the phone and call me. You know, we'll connect you with wherever it is that you're interested. I'll be happy to email this out to all of you, and so you can have a reference. There are many different ways to get this information. We have a red workforce guide that many of you maybe have seen. We were just trying to do a new, simpler way. I'm a very visual person, and I have to, a lot of times I think, okay, train your own, grow your own, short term, long term. That's just the way I think. So we were hoping that this presentation might just make you think differently. No, will it make people appear out of the woodwork to apply? No, it's not going to. But together we may find some ways that will pique interest, and we can be moving along towards a bigger, better workforce. All right, at this time, I would like to call up Sabrina Wood, who is going to do our Educator Workforce Academy recognition. After she does everything with the computer that I can't do. Yeah, we won't make you sit through it again.
I appreciate Jindy letting me speak about Educator Workforce Academy. That was one of the programs that had just started when I came on board, and she gave me the opportunity to work with our Educator Workforce Academy and develop additional cohorts as we've been moving on. And as with everything, there will be a time when we don't talk about COVID. I can't wait for that, but as with everything, COVID changed how we did our Educator Workforce Academy, and we were able to offer it virtually. And this is our second cohort that just completed a virtual format. And it really, there were good things, I guess you could say, that did come out of COVID. And this was part of it, that our Educator Workforce Academy worked really well virtually. With us having 13 counties, and the travel, like Jindy had mentioned earlier, it allowed for representatives from schools from total opposite sides of our region to participate in the same cohort. So with that, I'll go ahead and mention our partners for our most recent cohort. And we had the Career Center. And sorry, I did put acronyms. I know we're trying to get away from all the acronyms, but it was really long if I had listed it out. But we had the Career Center, Department of Rehabilitation Services, ACCS, AIDT, State Department of Ed, Alabama Office of Apprenticeship, Department of Labor, WIOA, and Opelika City Schools all partnered with us to bring information about different programs. Then our industry representatives, at the end of each session, we had industry representatives that talked about their organizations, shared videos, and then served on a panel for discussion with our participants. And this cohort, we had representatives from Russell Medical, Jackson Hospital, Alabama Nursing Home Association, Prattville Baptist, Golden State Foods, Neptune, Alabama Trucking Association, 4-Star Freightliner, and Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air. And then, so again, us being virtual allowed for participants from all across our region. We did have, I think 9, I think this is 9, 10 complete, no, 9. Anyway, we had our completers, and you can see the distance that they would have had to have traveled from Coosa County, Auburn, Selma City. And then we had the State Department of Ed reach out to us for this cohort to ask if they could send some of their specialists. And we were super excited about that. So we did have representatives from the State Department of Ed. I'll go ahead and I'm going to work backwards, and you'll see why in just a second. But our completers from bottom to top are Teresa Long with the State Department of Ed, Kimberly Davis with Alexander City Schools, Avis Williams with Selma City Schools, Roderick James with Coosa County, Misty Wade with Coosa County, Brandy Lee with Coosa County, James Chamness with the State Department of Ed. And then we have 2 who were willing to travel all this way to receive their certificate. So when I call them, if you would please come to get your certificate. We have Sylvia Scaife with Auburn City Schools. Sylvia is the CTE director with Auburn. And then we have a redo of the picture.
Students in the TV production produced our career discovery video, and it was fantastic.
They actually did 3.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Rebecca Cornelius with the State Department of Education. And Becky, you are healthcare, right? And Becky is the reason that Jindy and I are speaking at the summer conference. And we did, I had to count those when I wasn't talking. We did have 9 completers. So we were extremely proud of the diversity of our group. That serves us really well when we network and talk. And that's one of the big benefits from Educator Workforce Academy. So I appreciate all the participants. I appreciate Jindy for letting me work with this program. And I think that's
Great. Thank you so much, Sabrina. Look, it's 2 o'clock. I told y'all I could keep it under an hour. Before I call Jennifer back up here to wrap us up, I just want to say thank you for traveling. Maybe you didn't learn anything miraculously new today, but I do encourage you to stay a while, visit with a friend, meet someone that you don't, because really the way that the Regional Workforce Council is effective, to me, the way I see Central Alabama Works working, is that we are, think of the old-timey connect the dot, if you had the connect the dot puzzle here, we are the one that's drawing the dots. Drawing the line between the dots. You've got great people doing things here. You've got great people doing things here and then here. But these people don't know these people, or these people don't realize that these people would really be helpful to you. So we do a lot of that, pull here, pull here. I always say we don't have a product. We're not selling you anything, but we're hoping that by connecting, we're building all of our partnerships to where they're more meaningful and they make sense. It's just common sense. If we're all doing something, towards the same end, then let's come together and do it. So feel encouraged about workforce. I know it's a really difficult time, but please feel free that you can call on us at any time. We will come and meet with you. We will do whatever we can to help you. Your council members are the same. You know, you have council members in every county. They are here to listen to your concerns and to help us connect with you and do what we can. So thank you, and I'll turn it to Jennifer.
Guys, let's give Jenny and her team a round of applause because they're doing an excellent job with workforce. I'm so proud to serve with you guys. You do so much work, and I truly appreciate that. So it's time to adjourn. If we don't have anything else. Meeting adjourned. Motion to adjourn. Second, Hawthorne. You're adjourned. Thank you. Our executive board meeting is a little bit